Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to day 2 of the Shanghai Bike Show. Yeah, a little groggy this morning, honestly, but I'm hydrated, I'm hyped, I'm ready to go. So yeah, again, I'm gonna be digging through as many booths as I can today, trying to kind of uncover some really interesting stuff. As I was walking through, I saw kind of sticking out on the floor for this brand SRide that I've seen in the past, and they do some pretty interesting group sets that are not really available outside of China, although I believe they're looking to kind of get into other markets. So let's go and check them out and see what they've got on offer, because last time they had some pretty interesting stuff. Right, here they are, I've got the booth, and yeah, there was a mechanical group set last time that looked interesting, so let's see if I can find it. Okay, this is the group set I was interested in. So yeah, SRide, this is a mechanical road group set, and I do have a soft spot for mechanical group sets. I don't think everything needs to be electronic. I saw, yeah, last year it was a little bit prototype, but here they've kind of got everything in the retail packaging. So they've got a 1x13, for kind of, a gravel, and then here is the road one, so this is a 2x12. So it functions in a very similar way to Shimano, so upshifting like so, downshift swinging the full brake lever, although the shifting is a little ropey, so you can see it's not kind of struggling to catch, skipping beats, but I mean, the build quality seems pretty decent. I think it could do with a tiny bit more tension on the barrel adjuster, honestly, so you can see up, and then it just struggles to catch it there. But yeah, an easy fix. Maybe I should just give it a quick tweak. Also, the reach isn't massively excessive. Sometimes with these cheaper group sets, this particular part of the body on the shifter tends to be a little bit longer, so you kind of have to account for it with a slightly shorter stem. But here, yeah, that seems very manageable. So the design also looks extremely modular. So yeah, kind of being displayed how easy it is to kind of put this thing together. So you've got the body, and then that's the hydraulic kind of a master cylinder in there. Shifter on the front, the shifting mechanism, pin in there, and that's it, done and dusted. Allegedly, you can swap in, say you're running a 12 speed, you can swap in a new shifting mechanism into the existing body, change it to 10, or again, upgrade from 10 to 12 to 13. So that is pretty cool, honestly. So yeah, I do like that a lot, because yeah, kind of serviceability on these cheaper group sets can often be a bit of a question mark. But here, clearly, it's very easy to swap in new bits and pieces if, for whatever reason, something busts. So, I mean, I've got to give them props for that, pretty cool. But yeah, legitimately, the build quality on this does seem pretty good. And I like the rubber they use on the hoods, because that's often a place where companies have kind of failed to deliver in the past. Feels nice and tight. L-TWOO do a good job of this. Sentier, not so much, but yeah, here, yeah, I don't know, something about it. It does feel robust and kind of nice in hand. Disc brake calipers look pretty decent, kind of a one-piece aluminium construction. The rear derailleur does look a bit basic and agricultural, but again, does feel pretty robust in hand. No carbon on this at all, and yeah, pretty basic front derailleur. Nothing too crazy here, but the price does seem very reasonable. So the retail on that 2x12 road group set is 270 bucks, there or thereabout. I mean, we did see that 2x12 electronic group set yesterday that promised to be under $300, but I mean, that was just a promise. That's not available yet, whereas this is currently being sold in Germany as well as other places worldwide. Apparently you can pick them up on places like AliExpress, although I've not currently seen them, but I will be keeping an eye out, because like I said, I do have a bit of a soft spot for a well-built mechanical group set, especially one that feels nice and robust like this, and the serviceability. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, I quite like that SRide setup. Yeah, the shifting on the booth was a little bit ropey. I mean, that's fair enough. But that modularity, I like that a lot. So I guess it's designed with like distributors and dealers in mind first and foremost, because with a design like that, it enables easy kind of warranty returns, replacements, repair. So from a dealer perspective, that's better, but it does wonders for like me and you, the end consumer, because one of the comments I get, well, I see it all the time, is yes, I can go ahead and, save a bit of money on a Chinese group set, but if something breaks and I need to, repair it myself, can I get the spares? And most of the time, you honestly can't. So with a setup like that, that's so easy to pick apart and potentially repair yourself, I think that could be a pretty big step forward in terms of like helping sell the idea of these cheaper group sets. So I really hope I can get hold of one of those soon. Right, so I popped into the Java booth because there's a bike here that I really wanted to check out. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's this one here right behind me. So it's a kind of a commuter bike, but I don't know, I just really like the look of it, because I obviously I ride racy kind of road bikes, but this commuter one, it's kind of like a mini carbon road bike. Right, so here it is. So it's got kind of like mini commuter wheels. I think you can get them in 16 or 20 inch apparently, although Don't quote me on that. And yeah, full carbon frame here with this like enormous number of spaces there. So I assume it's gonna be a little wobbly, putting your weight over the front and you'll feel a little bit disconnected, but it comes with a 2x12 electronic group set. So this is the L-TWOO ER7. I've actually got this on one of the bikes I built up just before I left for the show. I'll kind of have a bit of a review on this group set coming pretty soon, but for the price, this is pretty impressive. But yeah, I just really love the look of this thing. I can really see myself tearing through the streets on this. I assume it feels pretty nimble because I suspect the wheelbase is pretty short. So I'm gonna try and get hold of one of these ones because yeah, let me know what you reckon, but I think that looks really sick. So yeah, fully hydraulic disc brakes, electronic L2 group set. I don't know, it kind of ticks all the boxes for me. And yeah, I just think it looks wicked. So for the price, I was quoted 6,500, or was it 6,400 RMB, which accounts to about $950, which I think is pretty decent. Now, they don't have distributors in the UK. I think they have some in Germany, potentially, but you can order directly from Java Bikes. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get my hands on one. I'll see what I can do. Oh, and the weight, very quickly, I was quoted about 8 kilos, which I don't think is that bad, honestly. And you can find like Brompton style carbon wheel sets on AliExpress, so you could check that on. Carbon crankset, lightweight cassette. I reckon you could get the weight pretty low on a budget. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and get hold of one. I think it's wicked. Okay, so this is pretty cool. But essentially, this is a folding commuter bike, but everything on it is carbon. So you got a carbon seat post, carbon frame. The wheels are standard aluminium, but yeah, what do you expect on a folding bike? Again, you could probably drop in some carbon wheels for a Brompton, possibly. But again, this is, yeah, a hydraulic disc brake, and the electronic group set on this is from Wheeltop, actually. On the other one, it was from L2, but yeah, this is a 1x12 electronic group set from Wheeltop. So you got the hydraulic brakes here, and then this is how you shift right here with these buttons on it. It looks wicked. I had a little play around with it. They've kind of cleared the area here, and I got one of the lovely ladies to let me have a quick ride on it. But yeah, I think it's pretty wicked as well. I mean, look at this carbon seat post. It looks really good. The like exposed carbon weave on there, and this area has got a bit of texture to it to kind of grab. It certainly goes up high enough, and it folds up and it comes up and down really, really quickly. Honestly, pretty impressive stuff. And full carbon, honestly, never seen anything like this. So again, the weight on this thing is about 8 kilos, and the cost, I think, was 9,500 RMB. So that's about 100 quid more than that other bike. So yeah, just over $1,000 or $1,050, which, yeah, for a full carbon folding bike with hydraulic disc brakes and an electronic group set, I kind of figured it'd be a bit more, to be honest. And in fact, I've just noticed this one behind it. So it's the kind of same model, folding carbon road bike, but they've gone drop bar on here, and they've got 105 Di2, which is wicked. So yeah, full 105 group set, including the cranks, because sometimes you see some third-party cranks on there. So yeah, full 105 Di2 on a folding carbon road bike. That's cool. So I just had a quick chat. This one's not quite available yet. They're kind of still bringing it to market. But yeah, 105 Di2 on here. Pretty cool. So these are 22-inch rims, whereas these ones are 16, I believe. So yeah, slightly bigger wheels on here for maybe it being a bit more efficient on the pedaling, but yeah, pretty wicked. And they just brought out this one. So again, it's the same frame, but this has little baby 14-inch wheels on. Again, we've got yeah, hydraulic disc brakes on there, but yeah, a little baby folding carbon bike as well. Again, electronic Wheeltop 1x12 group set on this thing. Yeah, these are pretty cool. So yeah, if it wasn't obvious, I really like those Java bikes. I think they're so cool, especially that first white one, like a mini drop bar road bike. I don't know, I can definitely see myself, yeah, sprinting about on that thing. But yeah, and the prices, I don't think they're too bad. Like $1,000 for a carbon commuter bike with electronic group set. I say that's reasonable. And like I said, I think they'd be quite easy to upgrade and drop some weight on them too. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, so I just popped into Van Rysel. I was walking past. I didn't really intend to come in, but have a look at this thing. So they've called this their FTP Squared, a concept E road bike. It's an Electirc TT bike, which is, I didn't even consider this as like a concept. Like, that's pretty cool though. I mean, 850 watt motor in there, and the aero is pretty flippin' tasty. Look at that, looks big, quite bulky, honestly, but I bet it's fast. It's got this like fairing underneath, I guess, that allows cooling for the motor. So yeah, maybe the motor inside needs some active cooling from the road. Because yeah, you'd think you'd seal that off to kind of increase aerodynamics, but they've got flow in here, presumably, yeah, to cool the motor down. And I guess the battery is housed in there. So it says not UCI on the top tube. So yeah, pretty tongue in cheek, but I mean, quite squared away for a concept bike, I'll say that much. Nice molding on the carbon. It didn't seem like a kind of a prototype basic model. There wasn't like 3D printed stuff on there. No price, obviously, because it's a concept bike. I mean, if it was to come to market, Lord knows what that would cost. But yeah, it does look pretty sick. Right, so I was just walking past this booth and I spotted these. So these are some really sick looking wheels from this brand, MVMT. So they're quite interesting because this is kind of an offshoot, a sister company to Pardus, which is a massive, massive brand in China. So yeah, Pardus is quite an interesting one. Arguably not that well known outside of China really, but within China, they're a huge brand, kind of heritage cycling brand, honestly. So much so that I believe the Chinese cycling team in the Olympics used Pardus bikes. So yeah, they're a big deal. So we've got some chainrings here, some handlebars, but these wheel sets are nuts. So this is their M Gold series, and they've got that Chinese superbike aesthetic, because look at how wide those spokes are. I think they're about 1 centimeter, and easily the widest bladed spokes I have ever come across. I mean, on the non-drive side, you've got just 6 of these spokes on here, and they're kind of bonded to this carbon hub here, I suppose. I presume if you break a spoke, you can replace one side or the other. But yeah, they are the showiest wheels I've ever seen. I mean, they look really, really aggressive, really sick. So you can't really buy them outside of China, but the RMB on these is 13,000 for the M Gold, which equates to just under 2,000 USD. I mean, internal is only 22, so not the widest things ever, but yeah, they do certainly look pretty sick. Like I said, really aggressive looking. So I was tipped off by the Nero boys to come and check this bike out because the price on this is crazy. So yeah, this is from Pardus. It's kind of a slightly more basic gravel bike. So it's got the L-TWOO EGR electronic gravel groups on here. It's one by, but it's a full carbon frame. And yeah, the EGR here has carbon shift levers on. And the price is pretty astonishing. So yeah, for this model with an integrated carbon bar, it's about $880 for the whole bike, which is pretty nuts. And they've got one over there, exactly the same, again, L-TWOO EGR, without the integrated carbon handlebar. This one is just over $700 for this machine. And again, full carbon frame, admittedly only one by, but yeah, the price on that is just crazy. I mean, admittedly, at the minute, it's not really that viable to kind of get one of these bikes in the UK, because I don't know what the shipping would look like, or even if you could, to be honest with you, but it does go to kind of show the kind of value these brands bring here in China. And if they were to make their way over to other markets in the West, they could be extremely disruptive. But I did spot one interesting thing on that bike quickly. So this is the L-TWOO EGR. I've covered this I've covered this myself before. I've run the older version of the EGR. This one is completely, well, it's fully wireless. So normally I would have put the battery, almost like a Di2 battery, in the seat post here. But on this one, they've got the battery affixed, a bit like the kind of SRAM setup. So they've, again, like evolved the group set once more. No more battery inside the seat post, and they've attached the battery directly to the rear derailleur. So yeah, I need to hit up the L-TWOO booth later on today, because the rate that those guys kind of evolve and iterate on their group sets is pretty crazy. And now, yeah, clearly they've gone fully wireless as well. So yeah, I need to go and see what else they're cooking up. Right, so I just grabbed a bit of lunch on the Panda Podium booth here. Honestly, being here with Joe and the team makes my life so much easier. But yeah, while I'm here, I want to show you Joe's personal bike over here, because it's a bit bonkers. So it's a kind of money, no object, uber racy carbon road bike. So Joe's taken kind of the best bits of Panda Podium that he's got access to and thrown them together into this crazy machine. So let me give you the deets. The basis of the build is this absolutely monstrous looking SSR bike in color. And you can see on the front here, it's got that kind of Colnago Y1 RS front end where it rotates around. Super slim front end on there, and an integrated seat post. So it doesn't go up and down, cut it once and job done. And this, as it happens, is a custom geometry made for Joe specifically. And as you'd expect, Joe has this thing absolutely tricked out. So solid, lightweight carbon saddle there, 3D printed titanium saddle clamp on there, even a 3D printed titanium hanger for the front derailleur. For the through axles, we've got overfast carbon through axles running through front and back, and then this pretty gorgeous looking CRT handlebar, and he's got the hoods really choked right in so he can properly get tucked in, get those aero gains. Carbon computer mount on the front here, and then these pretty tasty looking in color aero bottles. So I think they're 600 ml each, so yeah, 600 milliliters. So that's over a liter, 1200 milliliters in both bottles, and they're super duper narrow. These are made by In Color, so they fit the frame perfectly. And yeah, the aero profiling in those is pretty nice. He's got these overfast carbon wheels on here as well. I'm not sure if you can read that. Overfast there, and they're very, very kind of Joe spec'd in a way. So he's not running particularly wide tires. He likes a 20AC, so that's what he's running here. The internal on these is 23 with an external of 25 on these rims. 50 mil deep, but the weight is pretty nuts. So for both, it's 1,005 grams for the wheel set, which is, yeah, pretty crazy. But it's actually not the lightest that Overfast do. They recently released their Overfast Evo series of wheel sets, and yeah, with that you can get it 50 mil deep for a pair at 935 grams, which is crazy. The crankset is this Cybre Ultra. So this is a carbon crank here. This is a lightweight Mildart aluminum chain rings. I think there's a 5034. And well, with these Cybre Ultra, the actual through axle itself is carbon. And I've just noticed something else. Again, to save as much weight as possible, he's running 140s front and back. So normally you'd expect 160 on the front, 140 on the back, but in this case, yeah, both 140s. And is that an in-color titanium 3D printed brake mount? Yeah, this thing is tricked out. And look at that top tube there. So skinny in the way it tapers up to the seat post. Yeah, this thing is super, super aggressive, super racy. I assume it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but Joe likes his race bikes really aggressive, as lightweight as possible. And that stem is completely slammed as well. So yeah, 5.45 kilos for this complete build. And there's still room for improvement as well. Overfast Evos on here, you drop another 70 grams, maybe. So yeah, Joe, you need to get your act together. Drop a few more grams off this beast. So admittedly, it's not a particularly cheap frame, this In Color SSR, but it is yeah, some of the best that China has to offer, really. So for the standard frame set, you're looking at about $4,500. With custom geometry, like Joe spec'd out here, it's a little bit more. It's going to cost you nearly an additional $1,000, so about $5,400. So yeah, frankly, a quite ridiculous bike, honestly, but I do love a weight weaning build, just digging into the ways that you can drop the weight from the bike. Yeah, really cool. So if you want to check out any of this stuff, it's all on pandapodium.cc. And yeah, once again, massive, massive thank you to Joe and the rest of his team for sorting this out. So yeah, let's crack on. Right, then I'm on the hunt for the L-TWOO booth. I'm going to sniff out all the changes they've made to their group sets. I was at W, I've got to head over to E. So yeah, let's see what we can find. Okay, I've just popped into the booth. We've got the L-TWOO EGR, their gravel groups are here. And already in front of me is a perfect example of how they tend to kind of switch things up. So this is their kind of older style design. It's kind of Campag-esque. So you've got the shift lever here, upshifting there, sorry, downshifting here, upshifting with a thumb trigger, right? But then they've recently updated to this. So I showed it off in a recent video. This is the latest GRT, sorry. And yeah, it follows the kind of Shimano standard. So they're both kind of the same family of group sets, right? Both the L-TWOO GRT, but on one you've got the older style Campag, which L-TWOO are known for and they're shifting. And then this one updated to a Shimano standard with the whole brake lever swinging. So the pace at which these guys kind of update and iterate on their group sets is rapid, to say the least. So yeah, this older style one with a kind of Campag thumb trigger with the GRT group set is the GR1207. And this one with the completely updated Shimano style with the full brake lever swing is the GR1209. So just two-digit difference in the serial number, but a completely different design of shifter. Now, in fact, another shift they've made recently is in the disc brake calipers, because you'll know if you've seen L-TWOO group sets in the past, they didn't have this more standard flat mount looking caliper. It was a slightly strange design, unlike any other group set really, with it was flat mount, but it had these wings on either side, a kind of proprietary design with a proprietary adapter as well to kind of switch between 140 and 160, whereas now they've gone to a pretty standard flat mount interface. Although I've just noticed these are the brakes for the front. So basically this allows you to run 160s. So you slap that on the front fork and you don't need to kind of run an adapter, kind of similar to the old design, I guess. But then, yeah, kind of over here next to it, so you've got these extended wings. You've got this one, which has, again, the wings on it, but this is for running 140. So that one's the 160R, and this is the 140R. So yeah, I guess you got lots more choice, I suppose, without running adapters. So yeah, again, much like the change in the kind of shifter mechanism, the shift in the change of the brake calipers has been quite abrupt as well. Now, I was under the impression they used the previous design for their flat mount calipers with the wings on and those proprietary adapters to shift between 140 and 160 due to a potential patent issue with Shimano, because I believe they own the flat mount standard. But maybe there's been a change in the patent, something's expired, because yeah, they've completely dropped that and gone with a much more standard flat mount caliper for their brakes. On that note, it could be the same for the group set as well, so the way they've dropped the thumb triggers they were kind of known for to that full brake lever swing arm like Shimano. Maybe there was a patent that Shimano had that expired somewhere along the line and they were able to kind of adopt that style. I know L-TWOO are pretty hot on checking up on patents and stuff like that within the cycle world. So yeah, that's a potential for sure. So again, one other shift that I kind of spotted today. So this was the oldest, well, this is the ER9. So this is the electronic road group set. And basically you've got the actuator, the motor in here. But at the back, there's a port in here because to run this, you'd normally run a battery inside the seat post, much like Shimano Di2. But again, they've swapped that out recently. So if I show you over here on the latest EGR, this one has the battery integrated into the back. So yeah, you don't need to run the Di2 style battery. So whether they'll roll this style out to their ER9 kind of road style group sets, I assume they will, because they use this for their mountain bike group set with the kind of external battery on the back. But yeah, just constantly shifting things. So yeah, you can kind of see the progression in action because this is their mountain bike rear derailleur. They were released last year at the Shanghai Bike Show actually. And yeah, you've got the battery in the back there, kind of akin to the SRAM setup. They then rolled that out to the EGR. So yeah, you've got the battery in the back there rather than in the seat post. And then presumably they'll roll that out again to their ERX, ER9 road group sets in due time. And this is also one I'm really keen to try out actually. So this is their EFX. So it's an internally geared hub. It's 14 speed, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, you can see it's completely wireless. Don't know if you can hear this. I'll bring the mic up a little bit closer. Because from my understanding, because it's just a wireless shifter here, you can pair this EFX up with any of the other wireless shifters from L2. So presumably, I think you can, like sync it up with the L2 EGR. So what I'd quite like to do is maybe, I don't know, try some weird belt drive bike with drop bar handlebars using this EFX hub. I reckon that'd be wicked. In fact, I've just spotted they do actually have the ER9 here. So this is their road group set with the battery on the back right there. So yeah, they've seemingly got like 2 or 3 generations of group sets on display here. So yeah, it is honestly slightly confusing seeing all the different generations, but to cut L2 a little bit of slack for a minute, you have to remember that their primary business focus is OEM, so B2B sales. The B2C, so individual custom sales to people like me and you, is a very small percentage of their business. So you can imagine if you're an OEM supplier, you could come to a booth like this one at L2, and they've got every kind of conceivable standard for group sets. So a couple of different ones for mechanical, and then for electronic group sets, you can get ones that outfit it with a battery in the seat post or one with a battery on the back of the derailleur, a little bit like SRAM-esque. So yeah, it does kind of make sense. They're not necessarily geared up to have like customer sales front and foremost. I imagine this booth is mainly focused on kind of OEM sales, hence the reason they have such a broad range of options, because yeah, from a consumer perspective, it looks quite confusing, but from an OEM supplier standpoint, it just means that you have a lot more choice to outfit your bike with L2 with a number of different configurations. But regardless, I think it would be pretty cool to run a 1x L2 setup, because you'd have the battery on the rear derailleur and then fully wireless shifters. So the only things you'd be running through the frame are the 2 hydraulic brake hoses. So it would be a really clean and easy install. So that'd be pretty cool. I guess the one question that remains is whether they'll put a battery on the front derailleur for the road group set as well, because right now, if you want to run a 2x road setup, you need the ERX or ER9 with the battery inside the seat post like they've been doing for a little while. So I assume they'll go down that route, seeing the changes they've made iteratively. I presume they're currently working on a front derailleur with a battery inside as well. Right, so let me walk you through the L2 lineup quickly because it was genuinely quite confusing. And I know L2 stuff really well and it confused me a little bit. So on the mechanical shifting side, you've got the RX and the R9, which are their road mechanical group set. And then you've got the GRT, which is their mechanical gravel group set. So they've currently got the two shifting styles on offer. You've got the older school one, the Campact style with the shift lever underneath and the thumb trigger. And then you've got the more recent edition, which is the Shimano style lever. Apparently, they're gonna run both those kind of options side by side on their lineup because, yeah, as I suspected, it was a patent issue. So L2 dug through the patents and they found that running a Shimano lever was doable. They had a lot of kind of people requesting that Shimano style lever swing for shifting. So they were like, why not? Let's develop it. So they've developed that and they're gonna run both the older Campact style with the thumb shifter and the new Shimano style together at the same time. Then on the electronic side, you've got the L2 ER9 and ERX, which are their road group sets. And then you've got the EGR, which is their electronic gravel offering. So with their road electronic group sets, they come in two guises. So you've got the older style one with the Di2 like style battery that's normally sat in the seat post, and then you run the wires to the rear derailleur and the front derailleur. And then you've got this new one that I saw up there, the ER9 with the battery integrated into the rear derailleur. And currently you can only really run that on one bike. Although I did ask, and they are working on a fully wireless front derailleur currently as well, but it's just not developed fully. So yeah, in the near future, you'll be able to get a fully wireless setup on their road group sets with batteries integrated into the front and the rear derailleur. And presumably, you'll also be able to get the same older style with the Di2 battery in the seat post and then running wires to the front and rear derailleur. But the batteries integrated into derailleurs, they're not removable unless you're talking about the ETX, which is their mountain bike electronic group set, where the battery is removable. So yeah, the lineup truly was quite confusing. Like I said, I know the L2 stuff back to front and I had to kind of sit down and write it all out. So yeah, like I said, they're definitely much more geared towards like OEM B2B sales. So I talked to the guy on the booth and he was like, yeah, B2C, individual customer sales are not our focus at all at the moment, which is fair enough. The big money is in, yeah, OEM sales. So it's stuff like after sales and customer support. From what the guy said, that's going to be mainly done through distributors rather than talking directly to L2. So if you were to buy a bike, for example, with an L2 group set on, you'd get customer service because you'd go through the manufacturer for the bike. But buying a group set individually from AliExpress and then expecting after sales support, I don't think that's going to be there, or at least not for the foreseeable. So it does make it a little bit more difficult for someone like me to recommend to individuals, like you guys watching, to go and buy a group set, an L2 one from AliExpress, because yeah, the after sales customer support for individuals like me and you, yeah, it might not be there. So yeah, I've still got a lot of love for L2. I do really love their group sets. But yeah, I think it's just a different landscape. If, for example, you were to buy the group set from Joe on Panda Podium, that's where you get the customer support from someone like Joe and his team. You'd have to go to them rather than L2 directly. So they're definitely focusing more on that distributor model, yeah, rather than individual sales. So definitely worth bearing in mind if you're gonna pick up one of their group sets from somewhere like AliExpress from some random seller. So yeah, Wheeltop. Unfortunately, I couldn't record on the booth because it was so noisy and really busy. But yeah, I don't really know. So I was looking at the Wheeltop EDS TX, which is their electronic road group set. I think it's 2x12. And I tested it nearly 2 years ago, and it doesn't really look like a lot has changed on it. Apparently, they've updated the battery compartment. It looks identical, but allegedly the weatherproofing is a bit better. And they've done some tweaks to the front derailleur because I had a few criticisms of the groups that I tested. For one, the app was quite unintuitive, honestly, to navigate. And number two, I had a lot of chain rub with the front derailleur that I couldn't eliminate. And other people have also reported that shifting under load with the front derailleur is not particularly reliable. Also, the setup with rotor there as well was a tad confusing. So you had a Wheeltop bought rotor a little while back. So they had on the booth the kind of Wheeltop gravel group set, the one by gravel group set. And then on the opposite side, it was virtually an identical group set, again, a one by gravel group set with Ltwoo branding. And from talking to the lady, the internals between the two are pretty much identical. It's just the external branding. So I assume the rotor stuff, the rotor branded stuff is going to be for kind of Western markets because it's a recognized brand. And then the Wheeltop stuff is going to remain for kind of Chinese domestic. I did say this last time when I kind of visited the Wheeltop booth. I need to give them another go because I've got the Wheeltop group set that they sent me 2 years ago on a bike in the attic, and yeah, it doesn't look like a lot has changed, but maybe they've done some work in the app, so I think I need to give it another bash because it did work well on the stand. It was shifting nicely. I mean, admittedly, not shifting in the power, it's just a little motor in there, but it seemed to work. Although, funnily enough, one of the demo units with the chain spinning nearly caught fire because the motor shorted out. It was smoking and it smelled pretty rough on the booth. But yeah, Wheeltop, I think it's time I gave them, another punt. So stay tuned. Maybe when I get back, I'll dig it out of the attic and have a go. Anyway, right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for day 2 at the Shanghai Bike Show. Saw loads of gear today, and that modular SRide group set, that was pretty cool. I really want to get my hands on one of those, and that Java bike, all of them were really, really sick. But thanks for sticking with. I'm heading back to the Panda Podium booth now. We're going to shoot a little podcast, I think. And really, really appreciate you watching. I still kind of have to pinch myself that I'm here kind of doing this stuff. I realize just how lucky I am to be able to do this for a job. But it's nuts. Anyway, thank you so much. And I'll see you again in about 24 hours. All right, ciao, ciao.
It's the bonus clip time. Doo-doo-doo.
Oh, this guy's got moves. It looks like a small child is inside that thing.
It does feel a bit strange.
Applause.